Hey. Ooh, I'm out of focus. Coming back. Okay, there we go. My focus was gone. Hey, welcome to the Melanated Air Hour. I am one of your hosts, Lene Javette. You can find me online at I am Lene Javette. You can actually find Melanated Air online at Melanated Air. Anywho, today we have three of us in the building. Myself, another one of our beautiful co-hosts, Teddy Ewing at The Real Teddy Talks. Teddy tunes in from Egypt. Hey, Teddy, how you doing?
I'm good. I'm great. I hope my internet ain't choppy. Egypt is great, but the internet ain't always good. So bear with me.
It's not great. We also have Keisha Ravenel at We Inspire Brand. Hey, Keisha, how you doing today?
What's up? I'm good, full of energy.
Yes. Today we are talking about The Harder They Fall. We're doing a recap on the Black Western that's on Netflix right now. It's called The Harder They Fall. We ain't no nincompoops.
We ain't no nincompoops.
If you have seen the movie, please give us say yes. So tell us if you've seen the movie, give your commentary in the comments, give us your thoughts, give us your feedback. If you haven't seen the movie, still stay tuned because we're going to discuss it. And if you have not seen it, then we're going to help you know what to look for. Okay. So leave me a comment. Let us know you're tuning in, where you're tuning in from. Have you seen the movie? What did you think? Hey, Gloria. Gloria said yes. Crystal said yes. March said, let me throw these comments up here. March said it was excellent. Gloria said yes, she has seen it. Crystal said yes, she has seen it. All y'all got Netflix. Okay. I'm like, I need to give me a streaming service so I can get these people to come check it out. Manisha said yes. Carla said B1, yes. Remy Rain says love the movie. Nicole said I've already watched it 3 times. Loved it. Crystal says I thought it was awesome. Manissa Spragg is okay. I said it how I thought you would have said it. I think that's what you would have said. Gloria said I loved it. Denise said yes, girl, yes. So we've all seen it. So I'm gonna go around the room and let you guys give me your commentary. Keisha, I think you were one of the last ones to see it when we first decided to have the conversation. You hadn't seen it yet. So what were your thoughts and takeaways from the movie?
I literally just saw it. Like I watched it like early this morning, and then I fell back to sleep. So I was like, oh my God, I gotta finish watching this movie before Melanated Air. So then I woke up, I was like, all right, let me finish watching it. And it was really good. I really enjoyed it. I enjoyed just like the Black cast, right? Like, so I'm always here for a Black cast. And then I was telling my friends, I was just like, you know, I never like really looked at Lakeith Stanfield like that, but like he was giving like swag and
wait, who's Lakeith Stanfield? Was that
Nat Love?
No, Nat Love. I know his name.
He was the one that was on Idris Elba's team.
He was on. Yeah.
Right? I know who you're talking about. Yeah.
What was the question?
He's the dude from Get Out.
Yes, exactly.
Yes.
I was like, oh, because I stand me a man that is confident. So he was just doing that.
Cherokee Bill. Thank you, Nicole.
Yes, thank you. So I feel like he stood out for me. And then, of course, the Black women, right? Like, we were, like, doing the damn thing in that movie. Like, it's like, listen, we roll with it, too. Like, you know, Regina King, she came with it, like, with that. It's just, I feel like everybody in it, like, of course, they had their own separate sides, but everybody brought that confidence. Like, look, like, I am that presence, right? Like, I'm here to take what is mine, to get, I know Teddy mentioned revenge in our chat, to get that revenge, to do, and I feel like it was revenge, like, all around, like, from Nat to with Idris Elba's character. Y'all gotta excuse me.
Rufus Bucks.
Rufus.
Yeah, Rufus.
Yes. Rufus. Like I said, I just saw it this morning, like, literally. I don't know, like, all of their names and stuff, but, like, I really did enjoy it, especially the end. So I'm not going to give any spoilers. I don't think we're doing spoilers, but
no spoilers. Yeah, we can talk about it without telling the end, I think.
Yes. So that revenge, and then for me, things make sense when I know someone's history. Like I was just talking about, this with someone, and I was just like, when you know someone's history and you know what they've gone through, like what they do and how they move makes sense. So not that it excuses behavior, but it makes you go, oh, I see why they were behaving in that way. And that's what it brought up for me at the end.
Yeah. What about you, Teddy?
I really loved it. I watched it 1.5 times. I needed to, and
uh-oh.
We're gonna do church finger for you. Church finger, it ain't working.
If I cut out too much, I just sit and listen like I be doing. But I loved it from the beginning to the end. There's so much. You have to watch it more than once because you're missing things along the way. But I saw Black love. I saw generational curses. I saw Black wealth being taken. I saw business ownership.
Community, unity.
Yes.
All of that.
Yeah.
All of that. And I loved it. I love seeing us take over the scene. I almost hate when there's white people in Black movies sometimes because I don't think it's necessary. Now, there were some scenes where it was necessary, then others I'm like, that was
uh-oh.
That wasn't necessary, is what she was saying.
It wasn't necessary. Am I back?
Yeah, you back now.
We stole the show, and it was a production of ours, and I loved it.
Yeah,
I thought it was really good. So I watched before I even got a chance to actually sit down and watch it. I saw a lot of commentary. So I watched the them in London talking about the movie. I watched just different video clips of them talking about the creation of the movie, how Idris Elba became affiliated with the movie. When Regina got the phone call, she had never met this director, how she felt about Western. So I watched kind of like a little bit of like the behind the scenes pieces, right? So you guys know that opening scene with the train, this said C.A. Bozeman, that was a nod to, I don't know why I just drew it.
Chadwick.
Thank you. I just like that. It was a nod to Chadwick Boseman. So I thought that was super fresh to have his name on that train.
Oh.
I love that Regina said that she wasn't really into Westerns. She's never done a Western. She didn't even really watch Westerns or grow up with Westerns.
Right.
But she said if Westerns had been done like this, I probably would have watched more Westerns.
Yeah.
I love that we get to show who we are as Black people in a variety of different genres. And they don't have, I love that all historical pieces don't have to be slave movies, and we don't have to be depicted as slaves in every single historical piece. I love that they didn't use the N-word. I love that they made a whole movie. There was not a single butt naked sex scene. There was not a single disrespectful tone to men or women. There was not an N-word. They was cussing up the storm, but I have to believe that the Cowboys was probably cussing like that back in the day.
Right.
There was love. There was conflict. There the twist was good, right? I mean, it was so good. I think they did the music. I mean, even the music that came with the film was just amazing. Regina King did her thing. I don't think I've ever seen her in that type of a role before. Stagecoach Mary was the shit. I don't even know who she is, but she played the hell out of that role. Man. Oh boy. Go ahead. What'd you say? Say I can't hear. Okay.
There was no butt nakedness, but there was sexual energy, which I like. I love a movie with the energy. I don't need to see titties and ass. Like I like the energy.
Right.
Does it for me. So
I have a question. Are there any other like Black Westerns? Because I know that we were cowboys, right? Like you guys said, like that was our history. Like our history is not just slavery. So it being depicted in this way, has it ever been depicted in this way? before? Like as far as like a Western, like a Black Western.
Wild Wild West. I'm just kidding. Don't come for me in the comments. I was making a joke.
They ain't come for you yet. They're gonna come for you though.
Don't come for me in the comments. It was a joke. Okay. Somebody say Posse.
Yeah, Posse. I was gonna say, I know there was one.
Oh yeah. I remember that movie. That was Mario Van Peebles, right?
That's it. You're gonna make me Google it because I remember it vaguely. But
yeah, it was Mario Van Peebles, Sally Richardson. I remember that. I think that's the movie that they're talking about.
Okay, I never saw it.
That was you a little bit younger. That was my
yeah, that was 93. I don't. But Keisha, were you?
Oh, 93. I was 4.
Yeah.
He was hardly on this earth. Like,
right.
She might have been in the room when it was being played, but she wouldn't remember.
Right.
But it was, it was so nice. One of the things, me and my son talk about this all the time. I love watching Black movies. Well, we already know I'm B1. We know I love watching Black movies, but sometimes it's very difficult to get younger kids to watch historical movies because the younger generation, they don't want to see slavery. They don't want to see Black people being beat. It's very hard and difficult as this next generation comes up to get history into them. Now, I know that this piece was not a historical piece from the perspective of the characters were real. Mm-hmm. But the incidents and the storyline is not, right? Yeah, so we know that Kuti was real. We know that Bill Pickett was real. I go to the Bill Pickett rodeo every single year. It meant so much to me that they made him a part of this film. So it's cool that a younger generation can see a film. And by younger, I'm not talking about 4-year-olds, right? I know they had a lot of cussing in, but my son's 21. So me and my son watched it together. And he was like, oh, this is a good movie. I could watch historical movies like this. Again, I know there wasn't history in it, but Hollywood, Black Hollywood should be thinking about ways to create more films that tell our story that aren't just slavery stories. We've done more than just been slaves. We've invented things, we've produced things, we've led the charge on things like for Harriet. That was a dope movie. I think they did a good job with that. Even though it was a slave movie, they still did a really good job about keeping it uplifting and empowering. But we have to start telling more of our story in a positive light so that we can keep the interest and the storytelling going on for the next generation. I know that everything wasn't good, and I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that we have to hide the stories from our great grandkids and our grandchildren. They need to know these things, but every movie can't be Django.
Right. Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
It doesn't need to be. It doesn't need to be.
Nicole Reeves in the comments said there's a lot of talk about how the actors and actresses didn't look like the real life Westerners. For example, Mary Fields didn't look like the actual Mary. And also Rufus Buck was not an outlaw in real life. So like, do you guys have like any comments about that in regards to like them not looking like the actual real life people?
So go ahead, Teddy.
I was just gonna say it's like art imitating life. It's, as Lene said, it doesn't have to be. Don't get.
All right, so I have to keep reminding you guys that Teddy is in Egypt. Sometimes her internet is spot on, and sometimes it's not. Sometimes she's having one of those spotty days, but normally
if it does it again, I'll stop. But how many times has Cleopatra been depicted as a white woman? Like, that's not real. Never, ever.
I mean, I'm glad that they were depicted as Black women, and not somebody.
Yeah. So we gotta roll with it.
Yeah.
Sorry. I'm trying to block this user. My apologies. Yeah, it's a catch-22. It really is a catch-22 because I watched a lot of interviews and I watched a lot of interviews, and I remember Aegis was talking about the real Rufus Buck. I think he's like 5'7", pale skin. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And he was talking about or maybe it was the Nat Love game. I can't remember which one of them it was, but somebody was like 5'7", very fair skin, and everybody in his gang was about that height, right? Mm-hmm. And so when we're looking at something like a Western, who's real people but not real stories, I think we can play around with the characters, right? It's fun. We want to see people that we know, like, and trust, and that we love. And so it made the Western cool. But when we go to tell somebody's life story, like a Nina Simone or a Cleopatra or this, that, or the third, we do want there to be some likeness. Like, we want it to be realistic. We want to be able to relate. So I think it's a catch-22. I think producers and directors have to use artistic creativity to make the best choice about the representation, because we can't decide to make a Prince movie and have Wesley Snipes play Prince. That's not going to be funny. That's not going to be cool, right? At that point, we have to say, okay, artistic creativity, you went the wrong direction,
right?
But a Western movie, I think it's okay.
Yeah.
And there was a comment over here I wanted to read, and I didn't get a chance to. Somebody said they didn't think, for me, when they went into the white bank, Regina King's character, she wanted the money was a withdrawal. That actually was not Regina's character. That was Kuti.
Cuddy's character.
Yes.
That was a deep moment when she walked into that all white bank and asked for money, and everybody just started laughing at her. Like, that was a little bit intense. Like,
right.
And that goes to Teddy's piece. She was like, well, I don't understand why we had to even have that scene in there, but you kind of have to, because there's so much to break apart. They had to go to the white community to get the $10,000 because that was the only bank that would have that kind of money in it. And then Black people can go to that kind of a bank to do business. I mean, there's a lot of different things you can break down from this movie. We're not going that deep into it, but there are, elements to the movie that we could break down. But that's something that probably realistically was happening at that time.
Right.
I'm looking for the comment. Cynthia, it was missing a lot of substance to me. It felt rushed and incomplete. Did you guys think it felt rushed and incomplete?
I didn't pick up. And for me, I know I'm going to have to watch it again, but it didn't feel rushed and incomplete. I would love to hear more, Cynthia, about why you think that.
I think that it kept me interested the whole time. So that was a good thing. And maybe towards the end, they rushed it a bit, but I still loved it. That's our thing. It don't take much,
Right?
Oh. And watching it again, I just got so much more from it. Like, just kept feeding me. So it was
right.
Good. Yeah.
Yes. Let me see. I'm looking through the comments. Melissa said it was very up to date with our times, now and later times, pulling in our age, great and to enjoy and relate. March said, I'm ready for sequels and prequel spinoffs too. We need more films like this. The end was great. I'm curious about her comment as far as substance is concerned. So if I were to, we're talking about breaking down the movie from a substance standpoint, I think they did a good job. So when you think, and everybody has their own perspective on what is considered substance, right? So when we think about giving the background, the opening scene, first of all, the opening scene left me speechless. I'm not gonna tell y'all what it is. If you haven't seen it, I don't want to take it away from you. But the opening scene already drew me in. I was like, well, dang, right. So
yeah,
the backstory, I felt like there was mad substance in the backstory.
Yeah.
Not only that, the whole time I'm watching the film, I'm like, why did he do that? Like, you literally watch the film through the whole film. Like, why did he do that? Why did he do that? Yeah. You're trying to figure out what the tension is. And then at the end, I knew it. As soon as you started telling the story, I knew it. I was like, oh. I was like, boom. And my son was like, what? I was like, watch. And then when he got there, I was like, that's it.
That's
it. I think they did a good job, at least for me, in making you think that it was something else, right? So for me, I thought it was one thing, like why he did what he did in the beginning. And I was just like, oh, he must have, and I don't want to give away spoilers, but he must have whatever. Yeah. So this is the reason why he did what he did. And then at the end, it's like, oh, that's why he did what he did, So like, I think they did a good job at like just keeping that, like, I don't want to say suspenseful, because I had already made up my mind, like, oh, that's why he did that. Right. And then at the end it switched. It's like, whoa, I didn't expect that. And I'm usually really good at like determining those type of things. So it was like a real shocker for me.
That goes back to that whole revenge conversation, though, because revenge fueled both characters.
Yep.
Their adult life, you know, it fueled them.
Yeah.
And there has to be more. And that's why I liked Mary's character, because she was a businesswoman. And that was her fuel, right? Did I cut out?
No,
you're right. You're right. You show you right, as the seasoned saints would say. Show you right.
Yeah. Mary's character was fueled by business, and Regina King's character, I can't remember her name. She was
Trudy.
fueled.
Trudy.
For the Trudy. She was fueled for the people. She wanted to save the town. She wanted to give the people something. So everyone had their you know, their fuel, what they were going after in different ways.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm gonna read this I'm gonna read this right here. B1 Vanessa says, I like how it wasn't Mary, it was Trudy. I like how Trudy shot the conductor before he said the N-word. That was hilarious. He said she shot him, and he was like, you don't know what he was gonna say. He could have said Nincompoops.
He made it.
We ain't no Nincompoops. I can't wait to tell somebody that. Say the N-word. Say it. We ain't no Nincompoops.
And you know, I love the story she told about her sister. Trudy told about her sister. I love it. And it's like
Here we go.
Sacrifice and love.
So somebody said, do you think there's going to be a part 2? At the very end, does anyone else think there may be a second part? Man, so we don't want to give away everything for people who haven't seen it. So we can't say what happened. But it did leave me feeling like in some kind of way, but there's going to be a second one.
Right. The little cliffhanger at the end. It's like, it could be or not. Right. So I think it could definitely go either way.
They left room for if it was a hit, they can come back.
Yeah. Exactly.
I don't know how though.
Touch on Teddy's point about like the revenge fueling them. It also shaped them, right, to be who they were, like who they grew up as. So had those particular events, right, not happen in their lives, then they wouldn't really be, I mean, they could have entered that lifestyle, but would they have? You know, so I think it's important to note, like, just these events that shape our lives and create who we are today.
I think that'll preach. I think that'll preach in real life. I think you know, with who we are and what we do as a business coach, as a business strategist, I'm looking at everything and trying to pull life out of it, right? And literally what you said will preach. We as human beings, as men and women, we walk around with a lot of revenge. We are fueled by revenge or trauma. It doesn't have to be revenge. It could also be trauma. And you guys have heard me tell this story before, and or maybe not, but you guys know I used to be a dancer. I've told that story before. Well, who I am today is very much shaped by that, right? I got off my path, started dancing, hanging out with the wrong people, doing the wrong things. And because of that, I've worked 55 bazillion times as hard to make sure I've distanced myself from that. And so now, you know, bachelor's degree, master's degree, PhD, house, successful coach. Like it doesn't matter what it is. Trauma, stress, something bad happening to you, revenge, these things fuel who we are and how we shape ourselves going forward. Sometimes good, thank the Lord that for me it's good, but sometimes it could be bad. You could actually, it could run you into the ground and shape you the other way.
Right.
But that's real life. Though things that happen to us in our past, in our youth, things we've seen, things we've experienced, losses, abuse, lack of confidence, those things shape how we turn out and who we're going to be and how we pursue things in life, in real life. You know what I mean?
Definitely.
Someone said they would definitely love to see a prequel. So that would be awesome.
Yeah.
See a prequel.
Capturing the years after the opening scene to where what happens to Rufus Buck and his unfortunate or unfortunate. Oh, yeah. So that time between that time to this time, how did he become who he is? That would be good.
Yeah. Yeah.
Vanessa says, I cried about the little sister story, but knew Trudy slit that girl's throat.
Things you do for love.
Yes. Nicole says, can I say it? No, you can't say it. We don't want to ruin it for the people who haven't seen the movie.
And just going back to, the things that shape us, we also have to understand as well that we have decisions to make. So even though certain things shape us, we still have those decisions in our lives. So it was Nat Love's decision to go after Rufus, right? Like it was a decision based on what he experienced. So he could have made the decision to leave it alone, right? Mm-hmm. So we have to also understand that, like, yes, we have these events in our lives that shape us, but what are we going to do with it past that? What decisions are we going to make, past the event that shapes us?
And Mary couldn't ever give him her all until he let that go.
Mm-hmm.
So that messed up their relationship.
Right.
Right. We don't talk about how trauma, we do, but we don't, right? We say she got daddy issues. We say we got mama issues. Like we say that, but we don't really dig into or fully break down what that means, especially in our community, especially as Black men, Black women, especially when we're talking about Black relationships and Black love. We don't really talk about it. We almost make it funny, right? You know what I'm saying? Oh, she got daddy issues, but we don't really unpack what that means,
right?
To be a man or a woman that wants to have love, find love, be in relationship, but either not being able to take your boundary, take your guard down and accept and be loved, or not being able to fully give yourself to someone because they are stuck in trauma or the past, or they're dealing with something. There's a lot of hurt men and women walking around here that either want to be loved or can't figure out how to be loved because of something that has happened in their past. Right. So he wanted to love, he wanted to give love, he wanted to be with Mary, but Mary recognized and saw that there's something in you. What she said that there, I can't remember the exact line, but she
burning in you, something about a fire burning.
Yeah, and she was like that until that is dealt with, there's nothing we can't do nothing. Like it's shout out to a woman that can recognize something, a woman or a man. Shout out to a person that can see something in the person that they love and know that they can't add to it or fix it.
Yes.
Because a lot of times we go into relationships thinking, I'm going to be the one that can fix it. I'm going to be the one that can heal you. I'm going to be the one that can take you away from these things, when really it's that individual's personal responsibility to take care of that situation before they show up to love you.
Yeah. Yep.
Yes, March says, shout out to Jonathan Majors. He had so much swag riding that horse. He's such talent. So again, I watched a lot of videos. So Jonathan Majors was brought up on a farm. So he's been riding horses since he was a young boy. He did all of his own stunts in that movie. Every single thing he did. He said he worked with Cinco, which was the name of the horse. He worked with Cinco for like 3 months before, building a relationship with the horse so that, when he needed the horse to move or go a certain kind of way, he would know what to do. But yeah, also, he didn't have to audition for that role. The director saw him accepting something or doing something, was like, that is Nat Love. I want him. He hadn't seen him in anything else, not Lovecraft Country, nothing else. He saw him at an interview or accepting something. He was like, that's him. That's the guy that I want. And so if you guys get a chance, look at some of the videos, just hearing some of that, how it came to be, how the actors came, how Regina King came to be. Like, hearing the director talk about that was hilarious. Regina King didn't know him. And he said it took like 2 weeks to get her on the phone. It was a FaceTime. And when the time came, he was like, okay, I'm gonna get Regina King on the phone. He was like, you only got about 15 seconds to make an impression. So I gotta figure out what I'm gonna say. He said the phone is ringing, her people are on the line. He's in his head, he's trying to figure out, what am I gonna say? How am I gonna get her to be a part of this project? And he says, finally, he hits the button, her face pops up, and he's on. He was like, Regina King, beautiful Black queen, essence of the motherland. You are the one. And he just gave her this beautiful, grand opening. She was like, oh, hell, okay. He played his guitar for her, sang some of the music that was going to be in the film. He told her the story with so much color and vividness that she was like, all I could do was be like, all right, I want to be a part of this. Like, I mean, like it's so cool to hear Black people working with Black people, going after Black people, knowing who you want to work with, being in control of your creativity. Now, Faye is not here, so but we still want to have the conversation that she brought up behind the scenes. So behind the scenes, because we talk about our topics before we bring them to you, so we already kind of know a little bit about what we want to say. What each other's points of views are, because we don't always agree. I'm gonna tell y'all right now, you guys see this, we don't always have the same perspective. And so one of the things that Faye brought up was, is it a Black film if there's white money attached to it, or a white writer, if you will? Right. So Jeymes Samuel, which I think is the director's name, the producer's name, he co-wrote this film with another gentleman named, I think it was Yakin. And so I'll ask this question, right? If the screenplay is not written by a Black person, but the film is directed by a Black person, and the producers are Black, and the music is Black, is it still a Black film?
Yeah.
It's such a tough question.
Yeah.
It's a tough question.
We have influence. And I think that matters versus complete ownership.
Now, I want to make sure that I say this correctly. This in particular film, it is James's film. Okay, he co-wrote it, so he didn't take a screenplay from somebody else and produce it. He actually was a writer on the film. He co-wrote it with somebody, but he is the producer, the director, and he scored the music. Okay, so he did literally everything, but he did have a co-writer. Now, he's backed by Jay-Z. I forget the Lasseter gentleman's name, who's Will Smith's business partner. So when I'm looking at the executive producers and the people who are back in the film, the majority of them are Black, some are white. It's Hollywood, so you have to get the others in there. So the question is it Black when others are involved? I'm gonna let you guys answer. I have a perspective. In the comments, I want you guys to answer too. I have my own perspective, but I want to see what you guys say before sometimes I feel like I just be on here swallowing up the air.
I think for me, it depends on who controls what happens. So who is controlling the narrative, who benefits the most from the film. So I think if it is a Black person that benefits most from it, that is in control of what is being put out there, the story that is being put out there, because we know Hollywood is famous for like telling our story, right? So if it is us telling our story, if it is a Black person telling a story, putting this narrative out there, benefiting from it, controlling it, then I would say that it's a Black film.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm afraid I'm a cut off, but I would have to agree. I mean, I think that things can be touched by other ethnicities and still be Black. But like you said, who benefits from it? Whose vision was it? And did they maintain that integrity through the whole process? And if they did, then yes, then it's our film still, even though it had outside hands touching it.
Right.
I concur. I like what that's me said. At this point, it has to be because none of us are fully funding our films. I have the same view with Black-owned businesses. A lot of times people say you can't only do business with Black-owned businesses, and that's very true. But there is literally, I have this philosophy that even if it's not a Black-owned business, I just feel like a Black hand needs to be in the transaction, right? And because we know you can't get a Mac. I have this beautiful Mac computer. Apple makes Mac. There's no Black man at the top of Apple. There's nothing I can do about getting this Mac and making it Black-owned. What I can do is go to an electronics store that's Black-owned and buy my Mac from him.
Mhm.
What I can do is when something breaks down with my Mac, go to a Black computer store to let them facilitate getting it repaired.
Exactly.
So I try to just make sure, even if it's not a Black owned business, if the product is not Black, if you will, I try to make sure there's a Black hand in the transaction, right?
Mhm.
We don't own State Farm insurance,
Right.
but my car needs to be insured. So I will use a Black agent. You know what I'm saying? So to your guys' point, like we don't own Hollywood. Like we don't.
Right.
And we don't have billions of dollars. And so in order to get a project funded, we have to go outside sometimes to get that done. But to Teddy's point, as long as we maintain our integrity, our vision is executed properly, as long as those things happen, it's still a Black film. It's still a a lot of Black folks got a check. There's a lot of producers. Our interests were seen in a positive light. Like to me, that's a Black film. Everything was well. Did some white folks get paid too? Yes,
they always are.
Right.
They always are. Yeah.
And I feel like that also, this is a conversation I had, I don't remember who I had it with, but it was like a couple weeks ago. So I signed up for like a mentor type, it was like a class, like a course I signed up for. So yes, even us business coaches, we still take courses, guys, just to put that out there. So I signed up for a course and it wasn't a Black business. It was a white business. It was a white woman. And someone asked me like, oh, like, I see that you're doing this course, like, or, you know, you told me about this course, like, is it someone Black? And I'm like, no, it's actually not someone Black, because this is a skill that I wanted and I couldn't find someone Black that had that skill. So I had to go to someone that had the skill, and I just so happened to pay someone white. But guess what? I was able to get that information. My clients are Black. So I was able to get that information and now pour it into my community. So that's what's important to me. Like, where are we getting this information? A lot of us, well, I didn't, but like a lot of us went to like white schools, right? Like PWIs. So does that mean that you're not Black if you're still for the Black community? Like if you're still looking to uplift your community? No, right? So I would say as long as you are doing what you need to do for the Black community, for me, I'm gonna get the information any way I need to get the information in order to help my business grow and then help my clients' businesses grow.
That segues me just a quick. I hope I don't cut out when I say it. On the film, there were some misconceptions that everyone was playing by the same rules. And to this point, we can't make up our own rules. We have to play by the rules of the framework of where we are, right? And get what you need to further and grow yourself, your community, your business, your family. So in the movie, there was like Wild Wild West rules, right? There was gunfight rules, but everybody wasn't playing by those rules, and it cost some their lives. Mm-hmm. So we have to do what we have to do to get where we're trying to go.
Right.
Absolutely.
We don't necessarily want to touch.
Yeah,
absolutely. You know, it's so funny that you guys say that, because I have that conversation often. So tonight, I leave for Florida. I'm going back to Florida to West Palm Beach. I'm going to a conference called Unleash the Power Within with Tony Robbins. Tony Robbins is the #1 personal development coach in the world. And he's a white dude. And it costs $2 million a year to do coaching with him. Or is it 20? It's somewhere between 2 and 20. Anyways, I go to these types of conferences. I paid a pretty penny to go to this conference. I go to these conferences and I am like the only Black person in the room. But people go to these conferences because they're life changing. They're life transforming. Depending on what you go to them, depending on the reason why you go to them. So one of my colleagues went. This fool came back. He's doing 3 times his revenue. Like he was like, Renee, go. It's gonna blow your mind. His thought processes, his ideologies, his financial gain, his networking gain through the roof.
Wow.
But the thing that I see whenever I go to these conferences, I be the only Black person in this room. soaking up this information, soaking up this knowledge.
Mhm.
But to your point, Keisha, it never bothers me because I always go and figure out, what are these folks doing? What are these conversations that are happening in these rooms? What are these trends? What's coming up next? What's about to happen? And you go and you soak it up, and you come back and you bring it back to the community. Everybody can't be in these rooms, whether it's financial or not comfortable or don't know or don't have the connections. I don't know the reasons, and I'm not going to throw any out there, but somebody has to go and see what's going on in the camp. Like, what are they talking about? What are the strategies? What are the trends?
Right.
Because I'm a strategist. So I'm studying strategies. And in order for me to know what's about to happen, I got to go see what these folks are talking about, because they always stay 3 to 5 steps ahead of us. So if we don't know what they're talking about in these rooms 3 to 5 steps ahead of us, we will always be 5 to 6 steps behind. And I can't be a Black development or Black strategist if I can't help my community to be better positioned. One of the things I learned in corporate America, which is why I left my job and started doing what I do. Are you guys familiar with the Nielsen Edmonds report? Is anybody familiar with the Nielsen Edmonds report? It comes out every single year. Every single year it comes out and it says, this is what Black people are doing. This is what they like. This is what they don't like. This is how much money they spend. This is how much TV they watch. This is where they go and eat. This is what they like to do. It literally lays out everything that we're doing and where we're at and how we operate. Why is that important? Because it lets the others know where we're going to be, what we're going to be doing, how we're going to spend our money, who we're going to spend it with. That's why they're always ready for us. They're always ready for us to get where we're going to get, because they're watching us. And so they already know in 4 years, this is what's about to roll out. So we have to make sure that we got the Black people position. They already know this stuff. They already know our spending power. Like, they know. They're called trends. They're watching these trends, and we fall into these trends. And if we don't go into these other rooms, we won't know what the trends are. So I am B1. I do talk Black. I speak Black. I represent Black. I do business with Black people. But I go and get the information from the other people to make sure that we know what the hell is going on, so that we are armed and properly prepared to play these games. Because if you aren't in the rooms where the games are being played and the rules are being laid out, you won't know how to play the game.
That's right. Yes. And we have to know. We have to be there until we don't.
Exactly.
Until we don't. Until you can build your own table.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Play your own game. You get to a place where, or they say you get to a place where color doesn't matter. All people see is green, right? Once you can walk into a room and your money can match somebody else's money, they don't even see color. Like, I don't even know if this is a true statement. It's not a true statement, but it's kind of a true statement. Tyler can probably write more of his checks and have way more creative control, even though his creative control is whack, but whatever. He probably could sit at a table and have a different conversation today, being a billionaire with his own studio, than he could 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 years ago, right? Same with Oprah. I don't necessarily think that they exercise these rights like they could. Let me get a $1 billion in my own studio. Let me tell y'all what's happening in these conversations.
Let me tell you who ain't gonna be in my films, okay? Let me tell you who ain't gonna be in my films. So that's all I always say. There's more to the story I don't know about, because
we ain't sitting at that table yet.
we got you to where you are.
Right.
You were playing the Chitlin circuit. But we ain't.
That's a whole conversation right there.
You know, so but anyway.
that goes into control, right? So just because you have a certain amount of money, that don't mean that you have control. That control, that power, that's something different. People think, I get this money and I'm gonna have this, and shit. They still answering to somebody. You better believe it.
Somebody's still cutting them checks.
Time and time again.
I always tell people, do you want to be Shaq or do you want to be the man that writes check?
Right.
It's still cool to be Tyler. Don't get me wrong. It would still be cool to be Tyler. But somebody is signing Tyler's checks.
Right.
You gotta still go to MGM. So anyways, that's our conversation today. We ain't Nincompoops.
We ain't no nincompoop.
We ain't nincompoops. We ain't nincompoops. That's gonna be my thing for like. Y'all gonna see me hear me saying that all the time. I ain't no nincompoop. Chanel's not here today, but I'm representing her today. My mix with melanin and God.
Yes.
I woke up and it was cold in Arizona this morning. I also have a t-shirt from Keisha that says "I am enough." I have to wear that another day.
Yes.
Today is my dress down day. Apparently, y'all see. I'm fidgeting because I feel like I'm super dressed down, but it is what it is, y'all.
You're cute.
Thank you. I'm like, I feel so dressed down today, but I'm comfortable.
I love a dress
down. I'm traveling tonight, so I'm like, look, y'all gonna get travel today.
Traveling clothes.
But we just wanted to come to you guys and talk to you guys about The Harder They Fall. We wanted to just make sure that we added our commentary to this conversation, to this very on time, much needed, beautiful piece of work, piece of art that is highlighting us in a beautiful manner. It was just a great movie. And so we would thank you guys so much for joining us for this conversation. Do you guys want to any final words before we sign out?
If you haven't seen the movie, do watch it a couple of times and let us
know what you think. I think that's what she was going to say.
Yeah. For me, I will go watch it again, and I'm sure we won't have another broadcast on it, but I'll watch it again and I'll let these ladies know what I think. You know, I'm sure I'll pick up on some more when I watch it again.
Yeah.
Yes. Please make sure you go find us online and support us. You can catch me on Instagram at I am Lene Javette. You can find Teddy at The Real Teddy Talks, and Keisha Ravenel is at We Inspire Brand. This is the Melanated Air Hour. We do this every Tuesday and Thursday at 2:00 p.m. Eastern. For this 1 hour, we shower your airways with melanin. A lot of times we're talking about things that are happening in the world from a business perspective. I am a business development strategist and coach. Teddy is an exit strategist, so she can help you if you're looking to exit that corporate world. And Keisha is a t-shirt business coach. So if you're looking to start a business from a t-shirt perspective, she can help you do that. So we come on every Tuesday and Thursday and talk about what's happening in the world from a business perspective. Professional ladies, check us out. Go follow us. Go support us. We will see you guys on Thursday. If you're watching this live, we'll see you on Thursday. If you're watching this on the replay, you can see us anytime. Go check us out online. We're on YouTube. You can check us out online, there, which means you can see us any day of the week. Yeah. We love you. Go out and be blessed and be one.
Bye.